Attention! The movie guys love movies. Any comments made about a movie that, despite all of our snarky and condescending remarks, will still gross more money than all of Ryan Reynolds' movies combined, are purely for entertainment purposes only. Isn't that right? The Smurfs, too.
That'll show you, Belgian cartoonist Peyo. Is that his name?
Take that,
Peyo.
Back up the money truck.
Yeah. The Smurfs are back. Oh, God. This is when you know you're a movie guy. This is what we're talking about all the time, about how we have to cover everything.
Here we go. What are we covering this week?
Oh,
In
good
depth.
Lord.
How much detail are we going to give the Smurfs 2 this week?
It's not even late August.
Do you remember the over-under on the
Weird
first
summer.
one?
What's that?
Remember the over-under we did on the first one? It was like
this is one of the most famously
$78.
poorly predicted things
Was
of
the
all
over-under.
time. Whenever Adam Witt comes out with a general pronouncement, I'll tell you what's going to happen in this movie, bet the opposite. I thought that was going to be one of the most famous bombs of all time. I watched that trailer and thought this new generation is going to go, Smurfs, the fuck is a Smurf? And it was just going to tank, tank, tank. I was so wrong, it was outrageous.
Second one's getting trashed on Rotten Tomatoes.
Oh.
So expect another 800 million.
Right.
Yeah, who gives a shit?
I was just thinking
I
about...
think this taught us all a lesson.
Yes.
Do not underestimate the power of NPH.
Ah.
Yes.
Oh, yes,
I was just going to say, whenever you were talking about the guy who draws the Smurfs, I just got a really vivid image of the fact that none of them have any sort of man-meat situation. Like, none of them, they're
They have
just...
pants on.
I know, but they don't even bulge or anything. They're like perfect little crotches. I think that's weird because they have the same kind of crotches as Smurfette, right?
I'd like to say that I haven't noticed that.
I just
and
thought
I'm
of
proud.
it.
I'd like to
There's no
say
bulge.
that as well.
That's
I
right.
have not.
I have not noticed
You
that.
watch.
You
There's
can't
no
bulge
bulge.
a cartoon.
You can't.
Yes!
You can't cock and balls under pants a cartoon.
Where's Smurf
I want
Bulge?
to see it.
Welcome to the movie Showcast, everybody.
The
Part of the
Snorks did,
vast
though,
and
but it was on their
sprawling
heads.
movie guys empire.
Smurf Bulge. I want more Smurf Bulge.
I'm just saying, I'm
Bulge
picturing
was
it.
on top of their heads. Didn't Smurfette had one too? Or no?
Oh.
I was
Who's
talking about
paying
the
attention?
Snorks.
Jesus.
Smurfette has more of a bulge than they do.
Listen, you have reached ground zero for all things movies and comedy. Now, we bring the two together right here on our show every week with rants, sketches, previews, characters, jokes, bits, special guests, and more. You can expect that in the next hour or so, as well as our random thoughts on crap and stuff.
And crotches.
As we broadcast
Junk.
right here from the Admirals Club in beautiful Burbank, California. Now, the show is available on iTunes and SoundCloud. If you'd like to see the show, it's also on YouTube. It's a video podcast. Search The Movie Showcast or The Movie Guys. We come right up. Paul Preston here with Lee Caius, Karen Volpe, and Adam Witt. Later in the show, we'll be talking to our special guest, independent filmmaker and director Willy Laszlo.
Chicago legend.
Yes, and Hollywood Movie Titleists will stop by to tell us about the importance of their behind-the-scenes profession. Not sure what that is.
I'm curious to hear.
We'll learn. And we take a look at a film that manages to be old, borrowed, and blue. The Smurfs 2, as we talked
See
about.
what you did there?
And later...
Oh, every movie ever.
Hours to bring your money.
All along the Watchtower? You mean every movie that's ever come out is going to be reviewed?
What's your plan?
I got a plan. I mean, I'm capable of coming up with a
I'm not saying you're
plan.
not capable. I'm just saying you haven't told me. What is it?
I'm working on it.
Yeah. Screw it.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, normally when you hear All Along the Watchtower in a trailer, your movie takes place in the 60s.
Well, that's
Or a
true.
nom.
not two
right?
guns. Not two guns.
I think there's one guy in Hollywood that they hire as a music guy, and his first suggestion is constantly like, I see All Along the Watchtower. That must be a cheap-ass piece of music, right?
You know, it also,
Or whoever wrote it. I mean, was that Dylan? Just keeps getting checks.
you know, it's probably Dylan's kid who's in charge of that. So he's like, you know, this is a really great song my dad did.
Yeah.
Paul does a lot of editing up for Universal on their sizzle reels and stuff. And I know that they always encourage him not to use a lot of songs that are considered older because they want it to be young and hip. So I got to give these people credit for keeping the songs, you know, real and actual music with
Except
instruments
they just
and
keep
stuff.
going back to the one.
They do keep going back to one. That's true.
Good Times, Bad Times is in the new trailer of the new David O. Russell movie,
That's
which
cool.
you need to go and see that trailer immediately.
Yeah.
Christian Bale,
my God.
Bradley Cooper, Amy Adams.
I saw a
Jennifer
still
Lawrence.
from it. They look amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Amy Adams is very hot, and then the other girl is super sexy.
What's the name of the movie?
I'll be damned if I could tell you.
Okay.
Oh,
Okay,
Yeah,
what is
I
it?
forget to.
Jennifer Lawrence.
Jennifer
That's
Lawrence
the
is in it.
girl.
Oh
That's
my
not the
God,
movie,
she's
yeah.
all slutty too. It looks like
Christian Bale looks
Hustle
fantastic.
something.
Yeah.
It's
Well, it's
something
David O. Russell got him the
Hustle or
Oscar.
Something Hustle.
Yeah.
American Hustle.
Thank you.
That's what it's
American
called.
Hustle.
I looked
Good
at
call.
the. It looks like Boogie Nights. It's just as cool looking as Boogie Nights.
But it's mob, right? It's like.
I think so.
think-
See,
Oh,
it
yeah, it's
starts
ab
out-
scam. It's ab scam,
because
right?
it's art.
it
It's
starts out having to do with forgeries and then just a montage of 70s excess. and it
And
looks
then
like
the
it's going to be
drugs
the greatest.
start, and then the
love it.
fighting
Does it have
starts.
all
And Led
Watchtower?
Zeppelin. No, Led Zeppelin, Good
No.
Times, Bad Times.
Yeah.
They flipped the script.
Red Door Painted Black? Is that Red Doors in it?
What is that?
That's the other one. The
Painted
Rolling Stone-
Black?
Painted
Painted
Black.
Why don't you
Black.
sing a
That
little
means
of
you're in the
How's that
60s.
go?
I see a red door and I want to paint
paint it
it black.
black. Oh, yeah.
Sadly, we're not previewing
Because that's the
American
other song
Hustle
that's in
today.
everything that's in the 60s.
Platoon.
Well,
now we're going to do this? How depressing.
yeah, I know. Well, listen, this movie is coming out today, the day we're taping, July 31st. So we're going to preview the Smurfs too, which feels wrong because it's already open.
We
But
can't
still,
review it because we're never going to see it.
Exactly. And I doubt our audience is going to see it, so there
It's
we
a viewing.
go.
It's a
Yes.
viewing
Yeah.
of
Once I get to 4, I'll watch the first 3.
The most unanticipated sequel of the summer is finally here. The Smurfs survive Mayor Bloomberg's ban on their sugary cuteness and have further adventures in New York City. Karen, let's talk about it. Yes, despite requests to the opposite, the Smurfs return to theaters again this week as we are treated to, or perhaps tainted with, The Smurfs 2, Electric Gargamel or something. Coming at you in 3D CGI. Finally, technology has reached a point where Smurfs can be made into a live-action movie twice.
Remember when the first Smurfs movie came out and you said, okay, fine, get it out of your system, Hollywood. Make the Smurfs movie you should have made in 1982. It's going to tank at the box office, but I know you want to make it, so go ahead. Well, guess what happened? $500 million worldwide. That's what happened.
500 million.
So who's laughing now? The suburbs? The adaptation of the beloved 80s children's cartoon has been stripped of its communism and pro-nuclear armament themes and has been updated for a modern movie-going audience by being stupid.
The Smurfs once again have to contend with the villain Gargamel, who, like the creators of the Snorks, has hatched a plan to create his own Smurfs.
Gargamel, one of the few cartoon villains that looks like a sex offender, instead creates the Naughties, the Happy Meal characters whose names sound like genitals.
But apparently they aren't quite up to Smurf. You guys see what I did there?
That's clever.
So he
Could you repeat
decides they're not up to Smurf. Yeah.
Using
So
it as a generic, I got
it's
it.
a generic. So they decided they need to make a real Smurf. And in order to do this, they need the secret formula, which is only in the real Smurfs. That is how he can turn his little miscreants into real Smurfs. So he hatches a plan that involves capturing Smurfette and tricking her into being naughty.
Smurfette being naughty. Well, now you have my interest.
A female naughty named Vexy drags Smurfette from her land of fellow Smurfs, much to the anguish of all the men left behind. But really, if you were the only female creature in a land of males and some girl from outside your world offered you the chance to escape and party for a while, would you resist? Hell no.
As the plan goes, Gargamel will trick Smurfette into acting like a naughty, and she'll end up having so much fun that she'll tell the naughties the secret formula to making Smurfs. Okay, wait a minute. That can't be right. Is that really the plot?
Yeah.
That's what we're going with? Are you sure that that's what you want to go?
500 million.
Sorry, I did not mean to doubt you.
He realizes to make a real Smurf, he needs their Smurf essence housed inside their asses. Okay,
That's where I thought it was.
Oh, that's not really true.
Okay.
But wouldn't that make the movie have a really weird turn if that were actually true?
Smurf essence seems like the kind of thing you could use to make a great cologne.
60% of the time, it works every time.
So, why does he want their Smurf essence? Because have you heard the obscene amount of money you can make when you make a Smurfs movie?
500 million.
For the special effects, Sony Pictures Imageworks spared no expense, bringing the Smurfs to life using the same technology they used to animate Nicole Kidman.
Smurfette is voiced by Katy Perry, so expect Smurfette to run around with whipped cream shooting out of her tits.
I was
Also,
going to expect that anyway.
I did too.
also, the star of the first Smurfs movie, Neil Patrick Harris, continues his streak of making any movie he's in watchable for at least the amount of time he's in it.
Yet, he seems to be taking a backseat to Hank Azaria's Gargamel, who I swore I thought was animated when we were watching the trailer. Apparently, at the beginning of The Smurfs 2, NPH's character, Patrick, vanishes unexplainably and ends up spending the entire movie missing, only to be found at the end passed out in the top of a hotel casino in Las Vegas.
Okay.
And in case you don't know, sorry, we gave away the ending. Sorry.
Or the beginning. Hopefully this whole thing's being told backwards. I expect a challenging way of storytelling when it comes to the Smurfs.
Christopher Nolan's Smurfs 2.
Oh, my God.
And in case you don't know when to laugh, all right, watch for Azrael, the giggling cat, who doubles over in hysterics at the drop of a car, a Smurf, or his boss Gargamel. This evil cat has more fun than anyone else in the entire trailer.
We'll spare playing you a clip from what actually happens in this film, but trust us, if you saw it, you'd say, who's responsible for this? The director of Beverly Hills Chihuahua? And you'd be right.
In related news, the sequel to Cowboys and Aliens will be coming out never.
I want to say that I have not heard the word essence used more. I mean, I read the word essence about 5
it's in the trailer, yeah.
times.
Smurf essence.
And here's the thing.
Smurfence.
Smurfessence.
But, I mean, literally every other line was Smurfessence. They have to get the Smurfessence.
And he's got to steal. The male adult human has to steal the Smurf essence from the girl.
It's so...
in a rape analogy that is certain to not be missed by any grad student.
Exactly. And wait, we don't know if maybe she doesn't even have her essence anymore. She may have already lost it to one of the Smurfs.
Yeah, in a village full of them.
With
their cocks on their head, apparently, as we determined earlier in the show.
But that's the thing. She's got her essence. I don't know. I don't believe it.
Isn't
I think she
Smurfette
lost it.
like 50 now? So maybe she's going through the change and doesn't have any essence left that way.
She's having
man.
Smurfapause.
Smurfapause.
Well, they came out in 82, so do the math. She's dried up by now.
Yeah, and she was pretty young back then, but not like, she was an adult.
She was quite the forbidden
alone.
fruit, yes.
Yeah.
What are the Smurfs doing? We talked about this when we saw the trailer.
Yes.
The Smurfs are just sitting in their village doing what? And when Smurfette gets pulled to go and do all these naughty things, it's like running through town, goofing on rich people, flying on a bird. It's like, this is fun.
Yeah,
Why do you want to
exactly.
go back to where they sing that song all the damn time?
Na, 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 na,
Stop it.
Na, 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 na. That's awesome.
It seems more fun to be a naughty.
It's
well,
just like
in real life as well.
It's just like the Amish. It's her Rosh Hashanah or whatever the hell they call
It's
it.
her Rochambeau.
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 That's what you're looking
It's
for.
her
Dougalspringen.
Dougalspringen.
Yeah, what is that thing called?
It's Rumspringa.
Rumspringa.
Which still sounds like a German death metal band.
It totally should be, and they should dress Amish.
Fuck you, Yankee Blue Jeans.
Patent pending. Anyway.
But what else? What would you
I'm
not
not
be
gonna
so
do it.
upset by being turned into a movie from a 1980s thing
G-Force?
that you loved? You would like to see a G-Force movie?
They made one in
Oh,
Japan.
God.
There
course.
is one.
Live action?
Yeah, I think it just came out, but
Do you-
it looks really stupid.
Do you remember what was so amazing about
Battle of
G-Force?
Planets, right?
Yeah,
No. What was amazing?
The supervillain in G-Force turned out to be a woman. Blew my little 8-year-old mind.
Now, they didn't. I've never seen. It's Battle of the Planets too, is what
Yes,
G-Force is
correct.
call. I've never seen it in.
It's called G-Force.
It was also bland.
Depending
It's
upon
not-
where it was
just
shown,
to,
I
just to
think.
say it, just to make sure no one thinks it's the talking hamsters from a couple of years
Oh,
ago.
right. That was horrible.
G-Force. But what they did show, where I was as a kid, was Voltron. Where is my Voltron movie? I want a Voltron movie.
Transformers is certainly proof that it can be done.
Yeah.
And you don't even have to do it well.
I want to see the Thundar movie, Thundar the Barbarian,
That'd be
with
so good.
Yeah, it was Beastmaster.
with Ukla the Mock.
Ukla the Mock. The most frightening opening of any cartoon.
Yeah.
Earth is destroyed. It looked
Yeah,
like
the moon cracks in half.
Moon cracks in
Mocks
half like
are running all
Oblivion.
over. Mocks are running a mock.
I don't know what you're talking about, these cartoons. I only got
Sky
Canadian.
Commanders. Hold on. How about Karen?
Dino Riders.
I
Hold
was
on,
gonna-
I'll get Karen caught up.
I was
Sky
gonna
Commanders?
talk about one-
Sectars.
Humanoids. Where's our
What,
humanoids movie?
Inhumanoids?
Inhumanoids. Sorry, yes,
Yeah.
Inhumanoids.
Actually, I was going to talk about one I would like remade from.
Monchhichis?
No.
Mr. T.
No.
Gummy Bears?
Lancelot, Chimp Detective.
No, it was a Canadian cartoon. I only got like 2 channels growing up, and if the wind blew correctly, I could get 3, and that would be out of Canada. And there
That's how
was
we got He-Man.
Wait Till Your Father Gets Home. Wait till your father gets. Wait till your father gets. Wait till your father gets home.
Is that based on getting
Don't
beat
know
by
that
your
one.
father when he gets home?
No, it has nothing to do with
Every
spacemen,
episode.
and it has nothing to do with things
gets
blowing
beat.
up or people in spandex suits. So you guys probably never heard
It's
of
all
it.
about child abuse. Wait till your father gets home.
And also,
He's gonna beat the crap
the
out of you.
Hercules. I would like that too.
Herculoids?
Hey, Herc. Hey, Kirk.
Herculoids?
That one. Yeah, with Hercules and the little.
And the
Oh,
little,
little
newt.
Hercules.
Newt. Yeah,
And
yeah.
that's
That's
those
on
are the ones
Netflix
I
Instant
have.
right now, I think.
Hey, he repeats everything twice, so it's on Netflix. It's on Netflix. Everything. It's annoying.
Johnny 2 times, Herky 2 times,
Herky 2
Nudie 2 times.
I would like to see a decent Top Cat. We saw while we watched the trailers all in one shot for these sometimes, and I saw that there was a Top Cat trailer on Netflix, and so I was like, let's watch the Top Cat
that
trailer.
was-
I wonder if they did a modern, cool update like Yogi Bear. That's the
No.
wrong cool modern update.
No,
But
it
anyway, but boy, that was just a horrendous piece of shit. I don't know what's going on.
And
with
it
that
got
Top
some
Cat
kind of
movie.
release. I saw on Rotten Tomatoes to get like a 14% or something. It's not good. It didn't look good. It looked cheap. They put some real money behind a Top Cat story. We could have a lot of fun.
You know what was fairly enjoyable, which I saw was on Netflix recently, was Rocky and Bullwinkle, which I was a huge fan of as a kid. Do you guys like Rocky and Bullwinkle?
I have
when you were a
not seen
kid?
that in many moons.
Oh, well, the cartoon still stands up because that was basically written for adults at
Yeah.
the time. So it's still like...
So was the Flintstones, and so were all these shows
yeah.
back
And
in the
so
day.
was
Well, that was-
so was Garfield, which I am very sad to say did not translate, sadly, even though Bill Murray tried. Garfield was one of my favorites. I like Garfield better than the Smurfs back in the
Garfield
day.
cartoon is
The
good.
cartoon was awesome. You know, who can't love a cat loving lasagna?
Well, that guy's voice was gold, too, who did the
Well,
cartoon.
he did
Yeah.
the voice of
Carlton,
Bill
you're doing
Murray from Ghostbusters in the Ghostbusters cartoon.
Yeah, which is
so
cool.
funny.
Yeah.
My mind is blown.
It's cool. Yeah, that's cool.
And then Bill Murray, the real Bill Murray, did the Garfield in the Garfield movie.
Yeah.
Now, does that Garfield movie, is that the one with the story about Bill Murray agreeing to do the Garfield movie because he thought it was being directed by Ethan Cohen and it was a different Cohen?
Oh, right. I
Ethan
have
Cohen?
heard that story.
I've heard that too.
Yeah.
I've got a
That he
perfect,
took it like sight unseen. He's like, sure, Joe and Ethan Cohen, they make great movies. I'll do it.
I've got a perfect way to wrap up this conversation. The perfect Saturday morning cartoon to adapt.
Yes.
The real Ghostbusters. They can't make
Yeah.
a Ghostbusters 3, and that cartoon is so solid.
Yeah.
So many great adventures because that is the most unfounded sci-fi premise that exists. The premise of the Ghostbusters, they took everywhere in that Saturday morning cartoon, and they did like 150 of those. And that sci-fi premise you could take everywhere. It's almost like the premise of Star Trek being only done twice. And you're like, you can't get a third one going. There's a lot you could do, guys. Anyway.
Well, the third one, Steve Lewis had a good idea, who's written on themovieguys.net. He wrote a big article about...
Patent pending.
he wrote a-
Save his idea. Keep it safe.
well, come on. He put it out there.
all
It's a
right.
great idea where
Oh, yeah.
you move the Ghostbusters to L.A.
Mm-hmm.
because you've done 2 movies in New York already. You keep the real Ghostbusters, Murray, Aykroyd, and this might be something Murray could get behind if they're not coming in and trying to be the Ghostbusters of old.
Right.
They're consulting on a movie about their lives, so you have the 3 young Ghostbusters playing them
Mm-hmm.
when old movie sets get haunted or something,
And they have
suddenly
to
the
become
fake
real
Ghostbusters,
Ghostbusters.
and the real Ghostbusters come together and do a big thing. I mean, first of
now-
all, taking that out of New York's a good idea, I think.
Yeah.
Change
And
it up.
And now, with all the troubles they've had getting that off the ground, being meta by trying to make the movie, I think would be totally great.
Yeah.
That's an even better idea
Because they can
than a
use
couple
all
years
that.
ago.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Which Ghostbusters was the cartoon that had? Was it the real Ghostbusters that had Venkman and?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And somehow there was this other weird one that was called Ghostbusters, but yeah, the real
had different
Ghostbusters
characters.
had Slimer and Janine and everybody, and
Well, there is a huge amount of talent. Speaking of like Bill Murray and all these people, these great. Everyone lined up to be in the Smurfs sequel.
Not Bill Murray, though.
because
Do
of the
not
success of the first.
misunderstand.
Well, I'll tell you, Jonathan Winters, for
Even he
example,
won't cash
who
that
passed
check.
away recently. This is his
Yeah.
last voice performance.
That's true.
And let's see,
he's
Grouchy.
Papa Smurf.
I think so.
Yeah.
Don't quote me on that. though.
I'm glad I don't know.
Yes, but Grouchy
Okay.
Smurf is played by George Lopez. Anton Yelchin is Clumsy Smurf.
Okay.
Keira Knightley is playing Skinny Smurf.
Ah,
And Psycho Smurf will be played by Amanda Bynes, as well as a
Typecasting.
host of others.
Those are pretty perfect, actually.
that's true. Paul Taylor Lautner will be appearing as Faggy Smurf.
That's true.
Pamela Anderson plays Hep C Smurf.
I'm looking right here. Smokey Smurf will be played by Seth Rogen. That's pretty good.
Testy Smurf will be played by Lance Armstrong. There's kind of 2 jokes there.
John Travolta will have a cameo playing Wiggy Smurf.
Oh, Kirstie Alley joins the cast as Bloaty Smurf.
Oh, and of course, there's the Naughties. Playing Nebbish Naughty will be Woody Allen.
Yes. And Mel Gibson finds his way into a high-profile film playing Jew-hating Smurf.
Happy Smurf is going to be played by Christian Bale.
Oh,
What the fuck is it with you?
Date Rapey Smurf played by James Franco.
Interesting.
It's more of a
I see
look
here
than a history.
That Rush Hour Smurf here will be played by Chris Tucker.
Of course. Chris Brown will appear as restraining order Smurf.
Paul Walker Smurf will be played by Ryan Gosling.
Off his meds Smurf, played by Gary Busey.
And Nick Nolte Smurf will be played by Nick Nolte.
Yeah, well,
That's very good.
right.
Okay.
If he's
Very
available,
good.
If he's available.
you use him.
If you could book
Even
him.
if he's there, I'm not sure if he's mentally available.
So it's a huge cast, and not everyone in it I would expect to see in a family film. But we have a scoop, which we often do here.
Scoop!
We've come across the Red Band trailer for The Smurfs 2. And a red band meaning, for you, if those of you don't know, it's meant for adult audiences only. The Smurfs have a penchant for taking the word Smurf and inserting it into a sentence to replace another word. And I thought that might keep the whole film sanitized for all audiences. Not so.
No, 'cause
Their
they-
placement of the word Smurf is just all over the place. It's rather random. Here, listen, let me play the part of the trailer for you.
Hey, fucksuck! Get your slippery fucking ass off the car! Listen to me! Get off the fucking car with your fucking ass!
Shut that cunt's mouth or I'll come over there and fuck starter.
Smurf!
I've been in this business 15 years.
What's your name?
Fuck you! That's my...
Smurf!
You know why, mister? Because you drove a Hyundai to get here tonight. I drove an $80,000 BMW. That's my...
Smurf!
Everybody be cool, this is a robbery!
Any of you fucking pricks! Smurf! And I'll execute every motherfucking last one of you!
Funny how? What?
Just, you know, you're funny.
You mean, let me understand this, because maybe it's me, I'm a little fucked up, maybe. But I'm funny how? I mean, funny like I'm a Smurf? Am I unusual?
I think he could just put on blue paint. He's probably the right height to be a Smurf. Oh, I'm
A
just
live
kidding.
cameo
Please
by
don't
Joe
come
Pesci.
kill me. Joe
Despite
Pesci.
all of that, all that, they're not concerned about it. Maybe saying this isn't just for kids. They're opening up the audience. This is going to make even more money than the first one.
Well, they like to do parodies, like they do pop references. I can see see how they're just doing.
They've
pop
updated
references.
it. Yeah, exactly.
Again, they have
They
their
do, "Oops, I did
penises
it
on their
again,"
head,
or
so
whatever.
yeah.
All right, enough of this smurfing.
What's
shit.
under those white hats?
Thank God.
Let's talk about something else.
What did you see? What did you see this week?
Wow, that sounds like it just breaks at the end.
That's why we don't use them anymore. So, well, I'll put it to you. What did you see this week?
Well, Paul and I went to see Blue Jasmine, and it was great. And I don't
That is
even like Woody
Allen's
Allen.
Blue Jasmine, right?
Yes, Woody
Correct.
Allen's Blue Jasmine.
Is he in like Hannah and her sisters mode in this one? Looks pretty serious.
Yes. There's a lot of funny in it, though. Just in character-wise.
Yeah.
Bobby Cannavale and, what's his name? Oh, the guy from Doogie Howser. The other guy. Max Casella. Play.
Why didn't somebody tell me Max Casella was in a movie?
You should have gotten the tweet. You
Well,
didn't get it?
the Max Casella fan letter apparently didn't arrive.
No. They're funny. They're funny characters, just much like they're funny characters in, Crimes and Misdemeanors, which otherwise has this really hard murder plot going on. But no murder here. But, man, Cate Blanchett just, sending the rest of the actresses home.
Yeah.
She's so
Yeah.
good. It's like, just whatever you're shooting, just close up the cameras
Cool.
and go home. She's so good. It's crazy.
And they also have some new casting in a way where they're bringing back the old Andrew Dice Clay, and he's in here, and he does a great job.
He does.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Woody
he's
Allen
perfectly
directs Andrew
cast.
Dice Clay. I will watch that.
Yeah.
I'm
He's
in.
good.
I'm in for that.
They
How
need
much
a blue
hair does he
collar
have?
guy, and they got him.
Does he have a lot of hair still?
No, he looks right. He actually, as I was watching
Yeah.
it, he looked like my dad when my dad was that age, and it was just the glasses were correct, the hair was graying and it was receding, and
The windbreaker.
the windbreaker with the little flaps on the shoulder.
members only? A full members only?
Type,
That
not
type.
quite members only. It was like
the-
white.
The 1997 version. That's kind of what it looked just like my dad. I swear to God.
Yeah, he was good. Louis C.K. also might have been a little stunt casting, but he's in a small part, but he's great.
Yeah.
And he plays it just right because you don't know what to make of his character.
Mm-hmm.
Coming in late to bring some romance to the story, and he's good. The whole thing is quite good, and it seems like we talked about last week. Every other movie for Woody Allen is sharp, because the last one, From Rome with Love or To Rome with Love, whatever, it was terrible.
Can't remember.
But 2 ago, it was Midnight in Paris. So every other Woody Allen movie, you're going to get a good one. So whatever he does next, relax. The next one will be great.
There's no Woody Allen
The Star
archetype.
Trek rule.
There's no Woody Allen archetype in this, so you don't have one character who's just doing a really bad Woody Allen impersonation, and I like that.
That's good for you, yeah. because I know you're not a big fan.
That's always kind of uncomfortable. Sometimes it's okay. Like, I thought John Cusack doing Woody Allen in Bullets Over Broadway.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people didn't like that. I thought that was kind of good. But the one you just can't watch is
Kenneth Branagh.
Kenneth Branagh.
Celebrity. I knew you were going to say that.
I mean, you're like, Kenneth Branagh. There's no version of that in Kenneth Branagh's repertoire. And then he's just completely Woody Allen, and you're like, it's just the most obvious version of it.
It's a great impersonation that's just completely weird to watch because it's not necessary.
Kenneth Branagh doing that, there's I have no metric for that in my brain except that he's obviously doing Woody Allen.
Yeah. But, recommend
movie,
that.
too.
That's good.
I saw Euro Dreams of Sushi.
I've heard such good things about this. I got to see this movie.
Now, this is a documentary about a sushi restaurant in Japan somewhere that seats only like 9 people. And it is the only sushi restaurant in the history of restaurants to receive the Michelin 3-star rating, which apparently is this really high rating. And it's about this guy named Euro. But what was funny is that the DVD was given to me by a friend of mine at work named Hide. Hide Kinoshi. And he is Japanese, and he speaks fluent Japanese. So he gives me the DVD, and he's like, oh, you're going to love this. But he also speaks fluent English, right? So he gives me the DVD, and I go home, and I start watching it.
He just has a translator come around with him.
And it's in Japanese.
Oh, there's no subtitles?
Well, we're getting there.
Oh,
and so I'm watching this, and I'm going, Hide doesn't know it's not in English because he speaks both languages so well. So I'm like, oh, Hide gave me this fucking movie that I can't watch because it's in Japanese. So like 20 minutes later, I go, oh, that's right. I could turn on the subtitles.
Did you go back to the beginning?
I went back to the beginning. And it's a really tidy movie. It's about a $1.20, $1.30 at the most. But it's got a great tone and a great feel, and it's so relaxing, and it's so engaging, and you're just at peace the whole time, and it's this really remarkable story. The guy has 9 seats in his restaurant. You have to book a year in advance. It's a $302 meal, and he serves just what he serves. There's no menu. You just come in to get what they call his
signature.
All you can eat?
No, you get
That's the problem I have with sushi to begin with.
Yeah,
I pay $40 and I'm not full, not even close.
Really?
And this is in the documentary. You have to book a year in advance. Now the place is super famous because of the documentary.
Exactly.
It's like anything that shows up on one of those food shows that you then try and go to. It's like,
but I highly recommend it. It was a great documentary.
Yeah, we had a guy named Chris McKenzie do a little something earlier this year for themovieguys.net called 30 Docs in 30 Days. You watched 30 documentaries on Netflix. Sweet. One of them was that. He highly recommended it as well. So from all points directed at you, go see Hero Dreams of Sushi. And I'll be the first one who should go and do it because I have not seen it.
I watched Drive again. Fuck, that movie's great. Moving on.
That stars Ryan Gosling.
Yes.
All right. Well, lest we forget,
the rich man's Paul Walker.
There is another film. There is another film opening this weekend.
Dreamy, Karen. He's very dreamy.
Ryan Gosling?
Yes.
Hold. I'm gonna stop my script for a second because Lee wants to talk about dreamy guys. Sorry.
He's right there behind Tom Cruise.
I'm busy looking at Mark Wahlberg's butt this whole show.
Okay, screw it. If we're gonna talk about dreamy guys, you know what I did today? Because I saw it on Twitter. I signed up for the Tom Cruise newsletter.
What?
TomCruise.com.
I'm not even on that.
Well, I clicked. Well, first of all, it says
what's he gonna tell you?
You may want to follow TomCruise.com. So I clicked follow, and when I did, his page came up, and the first thing is like, get a signed poster of Edge of Tomorrow, the new movie that comes out next summer, also signed by Emily Blunt and Doug Liman. And I went, well, I got to do that. How do I do that? And then it says, well, to do that, you have to register for TomCruise.com and get our newsletters. I like Tom Cruise. Next thing you know, Tom Cruise.
That better be in my inbox by the time we get done off the show.
Yeah, it's TomCruise.com. Can't miss it.
Okay.
And they make the drawing tomorrow for the poster.
That's some movie guy shit right
Lee
there.
and I are
movie
gay for
guy
Tom
shit.
Cruise. All right. Now the other film that's opening this
gay.
weekend, it's Mark Wahlberg's third release of the year.
It's a bad time, Bob.
Not to be confused with any dead rap artist who may have the same name. Here comes Two Guns. Lee?
Yeah.
Hey, Hollywood, you spelled your sequel backwards. Yes, it's time to get 2 guns to the ticket show, as 2 Guns brings together Academy Award winner Denzel Washington and Academy Award attendee Mark Wahlberg, the actor formerly known as Marky Mark.
What an embarrassment!
Look, I know he's a respected actor, but no matter how much you become captain of the football team, Mark, you're still the kid who did the embarrassing rap in the 4th grade talent show.
Hey, Greg, why don't you go piss your pants again? That was like 8 years ago, asshole. People don't forget.
To sum up the plot, it's called Two Guns. Don't try to overthink it. Actors have finally handed over top billing to guns.
The DEA and Special Forces team up with the Green Berets and the CIA as they try to infiltrate the FBI and bring to justice a rogue sheriff. Or something like that.
Basically, if it's got initials, your government organization is represented here.
Now, the trailer was a little convoluted, but I'm sure it'll all be explained in the film's more than 14-hour runtime.
Actually, let me see if I can explain it. Here we go. Denzel plays Bobby Trench, a criminal who teams up with Wahlberg's Marcus Stigman to rob a bank. But when Denzel double-crosses him, Marky finds out that he's a DEA agent. But all is not what it fake seems. It seems as Marky Mark was working undercover for the NCIS. The two realized that the double cross was a quadruple cross, as they were both set up to rob the bank so they could be disposed of as collateral in a war between a drug kingpin played by Edward James Olmos, a crooked CIA agent played by Bill Paxton, and a corrupt NCIS officer played by James Marsden, making it a cinema record triple, double, quadruple cross, beating the previous record held by David Letterman's heart surgery.
This all sounds super complicated, but I'll take a movie that's willing to confuse me in order to entertain me.
And the casting is a classic study of Hollywood contrast. Two Oscar-caliber actors who just aren't quite at the same level. Denzel is a household name. There's only one Denzel. Mark is not. It's too generic. Wahlberg is probably going to mean Mark Wahlberg, though it could mean...
Oh, there's no more of that?
That's all you get.
I want more of that.
Of course you do.
Now, at first, the title of this movie, Two Guns, seems rather obvious. But upon further consideration, you realize that it's completely obvious. Though still a little misleading, because something tells me there will be a whole lot more than just two guns in this movie. Let's hear a clip, Paul.
Okay.
I heard 4.
At least 4.
Sounds like another action film by Icelandic director Baltasar Kormákur, Iceland's most popular Balthazar. No. Sorry, that's Balthazar, not Baltar. All right. Continue.
A 24-hour deadline to get the stolen money back from somebody to get it to somebody puts Denzel and Marky in buddy cop roles in what looks to be the best movie that Tony Scott has directed since he died.
Oh, there you go. Come on. This looks like a Tony Scott movie. You watch a trailer, and outside of there being text on the screen, it looks like a Tony Scott movie.
It looks like a Tony Scott movie in that. I think it's going to kick ass. It's just going to be some kick ass shit going on.
Well,
for
much
2
like
hours.
Euro Love Sushi.
And badass guys being badass.
Sorry, Lee.
No, I was going to say, much like Euro Love Sushi, make sure you turn on the subtitles.
Exactly.
Otherwise, you're going to be lost.
No, but I guess I'll see this. I mean, they're not winning over with the plot because they are, as we said, it's rather convoluted.
Yeah.
But the stars I'll watch do.
So it's only going to win on its personality, and I like the personality of both these guys. They can both turn on something pretty watchable.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing to me that Denzel hasn't gotten grief for doing so many action-type cop movies and things like that.
Yeah.
But, because when Nicolas
Cage
does
Flight.
Because he does. And he can still turn it around and be Oscar caliber and then be in the big box
Nicolas
office.
Cage never got that down again, did he?
He never do it.
He never got that down.
He got the Oscar, and that was it.
Oh, and that was it.
Done with the Oscars.
I am going to suck and do a bunch of Bulgarian movies to pay off my debts.
Denzel can pull it off, though. I don't know how he does it. And how old is he? He's timeless.
He's a good-looking whatever it is.
He can play anywhere from 42 to 56. So says his agent.
So this is... you have a problem with Mark Wahlberg in... after...
I do. Play it again, please. Oh. Do you have it?
I do. Well, I got to bring it up.
This is why I can never take Mark Wahlberg seriously as a tough guy, serious actor, action guy anymore, ever again.
It's a bad time, Bob.
That movie, The Other Guys, every time I see him...
It's a parody of Tough Guy Cops.
It's a parody of Tough Guy Cop movies, and every time I see Mark Wahlberg in a Tough Guy Cop movie now, it feels like he's doing the parody that he did in...
But he always plays... he never actually plays...
You writing it down, Karen?
Well, actually...
The Other Guys?
No, here's the thing. his February releases are the ones that he's parodying in the other guys. So in February you got Contraband. And he releases a
Max
movie
Payne.
in February.
But he
Max
walks-
Payne. But this is always the one where he's like kind of the dope or regular guy who's like kind of.
This is
And he
when Ted
does
came out last
and he
year.
does seem like he's playing kind of the goof in this anyway. But he walks this really fine line, in my opinion, between a guy who's doing a parody of a tough guy and a guy who can actually pull off a tough guy. And for me, once he went over to the other side, that's all I hear when I hear him being tough.
Is the thing I don't have queued.
Okay.
And I think everybody at this table would have to admit that none of us could have possibly predicted, even with Boogie Nights, like the few movies after that and that sort of thing, that Mark Wahlberg would end up this watchable.
No way.
He's so watchable.
I agree. There's
Like,
no
I'll go
way you
see
saw this coming.
Contraband.
You didn't see this coming.
Contraband's on
Bad
Netflix.
time, Bob.
Washington is 59.
59.
Denzel, Jamie chiming in. Denzel Washington is 59.
Our research team of Jamie.
Wow, I wouldn't have guessed that.
He
I
gets
would not have
around
guessed
for
that.
59.
You want to see my Denzel Washington impersonation?
I'd like to. Yeah, that's the thing. Even if it's one finger, you can do the one finger itch behind the neck.
There you
You
go. I got it
can
down.
tell what's going down. Yeah.
I really wish I had a passable Wahlberg. I wish this whole table did. We should do Mark Wahlberg theater. Next time he's in a movie, let's do Mark Wahlberg theater, and we'll take other scenes from other movies, and we'll just do them all as a Wahlberg.
I work on that. I could bring that.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
I could get a Wahlberg going.
There's a-
I think
there's a-
almost anybody could. Really.
Yeah, there's a thing to it.
Yeah.
It's not all natural to do him. You could work on it. And
Yeah,
get
it's
it.
a little Boston-y. It's a little,
Last couple things about this movie. It's good for the eyes because there's Paula Patton, first of all, who is
It's good for the eyes because there's Mark Wahlberg.
okay.
No,
Something
time
for
out,
everybody.
time out. Is he dreamy?
People don't forget.
Look at that ass.
Wait, hang on a second.
All
Wait a
I'm
minute.
saying-
He's talking about dreamy guys again.
He's dreamy.
Because I'm always fascinated by what other women find attractive.
Yes.
And Mark Wahlberg.
All right. Look, okay, I'm pointing out his ass
got
on
the
a TED
Ted-
poster.
you got the TED
Here's
poster
many
up
things going on
in the
here.
video.
First of all,
There's a lot of
nice,
things going on.
nice big, thick head of hair. Look at that curly. I don't care
Okay,
if it's fake
stop
or
right there.
real. Yes? You asked me. I'm telling you.
I
That
can't do
ass-
anything about this.
All right. Look at that ass.
Here's where his dick is.
Right? And look at that.
His dick is right here.
He's got
where
dick
I'm
bulge
pointing.
from behind.
Now people have to watch the
That's a
video
man.
podcast because I'm pointing at his dick.
There's so many good things going on. First of all, he looks great in that T-shirt. Why? Because he has big, strong shoulders and he has
stop it.
the veiny arm going.
You're 6 inches taller than he is.
I don't care.
That's true.
That is all in proportion how it
Look
needs
at
to
this. He's standing next to a teddy bear and he's barely clocking double its height, right?
be. If you guys want to,
No, I'm always
wanna-
curious. Is he? But his face is attractive.
yeah,
Good looking face.
he's a good looking
I think
guy.
it's a Jeremy Renner thing. He's not actually that attractive, but
No, I think your guys are all completely wrong. He's absolutely gorgeous, and I don't know why you have a problem.
So let's see. Is he hot? Let me tell you the final scores. Karen 1.
Yes.
Jealous guys.
No, I am not jealous. I'm
no
always
question.
fascinated. I'm secure
Lee,
enough in my masculinity.
let's go watch Mission Impossible 4.
to acknowledge
with
that.
Paula Patton.
Anyway, you were saying about
Also-
how you can see the movie because there's a good-looking
Also,
girl
for the
in
ladies,
it.
there will be a Remo Williams sighting.
Yes.
Just so you know. Fred
Yes.
Ward is in this movie.
Yeah, this has got a couple great B characters. It's got Fred Ward from Remo Williams and Paxton, Bill Paxton.
Bill Paxton.
Oh,
yeah, Edward
come
James
on, man.
Olmos. It's loaded. Yeah. All right, well, let's enough of this. Let's get
All
on
right,
to the special.
hang on.
Oh, hey,
Oh,
Jesus.
here we go.
More hot guy
All
talk.
right. All right. Okay, wait. Okay.
Most people are
Do we
listening.
have a problem with the fact that he's hot? He has no shirt on there. Oh, and here's his underwear
That's
commercial.
post steroids, though.
Steroids are not very hot. All right, hang on.
All
Let me
right.
see if I can find one in underwear. Oh,
Breaking
okay.
news: Karen found a shirtless
Oh,
picture of Marky
Karen-
Mark on the
Karen,
web.
Karen, our guests are here. Karen, our guests are here. They're kind of staring at us. I don't know if we should continue with the Marky Mark thing.
All right.
Alrighty, I'm with you. I'm with you. Okay.
All right, now you're on board now with
I'd
the
hit
with
that.
the sexy.
See that?
I'd hit that.
You brought.
Come the fuck on. Really?
No pun intended.
Ah.
All
Come
right.
the fuck on.
Let's get on to our special guest. Actually, we're going to take a little break because Karen's going to talk to them, and they're going to talk to the pair of Hollywood Movie Titleists who are here. And I have to
Titleist?
admit,
What's a Titleist?
that's a cog in
They're
the Hollywood
golfers?
machine I've never heard of. I don't know what it is. So I'm excited to hear her talk with them, and we're going to talk to them right after this.
Oh my God.
He's hunky.
Okay, thanks, honey.
You brought me around.
The subtlety of a movie titled like Two Guns. Not since The Bridges of Madison County has there been a movie title that so succinctly sums up what the film's about. Two Guns, the pretty plain movie title, which made us wonder, how do you settle on a title for a movie? I mean, this could have been anything. Two Cops, The Good Bad Guys, or even 12 Bullets. So to get to the bottom of what's going into titling a movie, please welcome Stan Masthead and Gabe Placard, titleists for Cinemessage, a company hired by all the major studios to title their movies.
Thanks for having us here.
Welcome, gentlemen.
Very prized Movie Guys
Nice.
Studios and wonderful.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, guys.
Great. Now, what titles might I know of yours?
Oh, yeah, we've named a lot of classics. The One.
50-50.
7.
Interesting. So you guys came up with all those? What was Seven's original title going to be?
Actually, the Rainy Town Murders.
Now, I suggested 7 murders. Of the two of us, I'm kind of more of a numbers guy.
And I'm really more about, boiling the movie down to its essence. I suggested 7, which they bought, and, it helped create a worldwide hit and made it not gay to like Brad Pitt, so that's a good thing.
And has that worked for you in the past?
Well, there was a screenplay flying around town called Rich Cunt Can't Find a Man.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I suggested The Proposal.
Good call.
And now you've got Ryan Reynolds, so you're welcome.
Hey, and he started on a TV show that I worked on called Two Guys, a Girl, and a Pizza Place. I tried to coax the producers into more pizza places. If they had that, I bet you that show would still be on the air, and then you'd be thanking me.
Well, how does a movie like Two Guns get its title?
Well, it's always a collaboration. We both bring something to the table.
Yeah, the studio wanted to call it The Gun Caper.
Uh-huh.
And again, I said, guys, what's the essence of your movie? Just call it Gun.
But it was immediately obvious to me, the numbers guy, that there was a discrepancy between the number of guns in the title and the number of guns in the hands of Denzel Washington and Mark Wahlberg. So I suggested 2 guns. And the rest is history. Or it will be after it opens on Friday.
You two must be very proud because I read that Two Guns is not the only movie you have titled that's opening this weekend.
That's true, Karen. As a matter of fact, we're very proud to say the Smurfs sequel, also chosen by us.
Smurfs 2?
Yes.
Good job.
Thank you.
It seems kind of simple, guys. It seems like you're just adding numbers to the movie titles.
Oh, how well do you think the movie would have opened under the title Grandpa Blue Ball's Happy Lap Time? Huh? I
Well,
don't think so.
Probably depends on how that would translate into Chinese.
Oh, hey, you got something there. Well, look, movie titling has become a very complex in modern times. There's a lot of competition around every corner, especially with the advent of the colon.
Oh, yes.
Oh, excellent. That brings me to my next guest, another player in the competitive field of movie titling, Roger Van Paws of Colonial Titling. Titler of such movies as Underworld, Rise of the Lycans, The Crow, City of Angels, and Highlander 2, The Quickening. Welcome, Roger.
Hey, it's very good to be here.
It's good to see
damn it,
you
I had to
again.
hold my colon over here listening to you guys banter around about whatever it is you're doing.
How's things over there in the colon business?
That we're what the future is all. That's what's going on over
we're
there.
More of a traditionalist, that's all.
Yeah, okay, traditionalize all you want, but if you don't see the future, how can you head towards it or whatever?
That's fine.
That's what it said underneath the kitten on that poster in my workplace.
You worry about that. We'll take care of the quality.
Now,
Go ahead.
gentlemen, I think that you just answered my next question, but have either of you ever competed on a movie?
I think both of us regularly put bids in on movies. I suggested the title Smurfs, all smurfed up, or that was for the Smurf sequel, or Guns, the firing. That was for 2 guns.
That's actually kind of stupid.
Well, I'm sensing a theme here.
Karen, Colonial and Cinemessage have always been in competition, so we were very excited when we had gotten the chance to put 2 numbers into Too Fast, Too Furious.
Oh, yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Big day.
And we really thought we were making some headway there, but then, they stole the 3rd title from us.
You guys were phoning it in, and everybody could tell with a title like that. They were going to call the next one 3 Fast, 3 Furious, which can't hold a candle to The Fast and the Furious, Tokyo Drift.
He's got a point there.
Hey, but you know what? All was forgiven when we won the contract for Fast 5. And in fact, we've recently entered into negotiations to merge the 2 companies.
You seem like you two might make uneasy allies.
It's pretty basic survival for both of our companies. Once we saw the work that Advanced Titling Mechanics was doing on colons and numbers in the same movie, with movies like Step Up 2, The Streets, and Leprechaun 5, Back to the Hood.
That was brilliant
That
work.
is
Jealous
amazing.
of that title right there. 2 numbers.
Yeah, but I thought they were way off base, however, with Star Wars, Episode 2, Attack of the Clones.
Look, you just got to boil it down, people,
Yeah.
okay? and the clones never attack. So screw that movie.
And what about Star Wars 2? Something wrong with calling The Empire Strikes Back Star Wars 2? Hey, make it TOO 2, huh? I invented that.
For Teen Wolf 2.
Ah, you remember that movie?
300 million domestic in 1980. That's why Star Wars 2 was a bad idea.
Yeah, but how did they know it was a sequel without a colon? Star Wars 2, the Yoda-ing. That's what I wanted.
Almost as bad as Grandpa Blue Balls in his Happy Lap Time. Yoda-ing does not translate into Chinese.
2 Guns 2, the gunning.
You can't just put it in everything, but I think we could get together here for two guns 2, 4, for the love of guns.
Well,
Why
thank
did
you
you
very
up top
much,
with that one?
gentlemen.
Good job. I'm still a
Good
little
luck on the
upset.
merger.
Yeah,
I
there
think
we go, man.
now we
Yeah.
all are a
I
little
think
more
there was
misinformed.
I think there was room for a colon in
Yes.
Fast 5, but I'm just saying.
Thanks, gentlemen.
Fast colon 5.
And we are back with another guest, and he wanted me to point out that he is real.
Yes.
Our last guest may not have been. So, important show note there.
Who is that?
Karen and I have, we've known Willy Laszlo for years, going back to when we all lived in Chicago. Willy's always messed around with short films since we've known him. And as higher and higher tech cameras became more and more attainable, Willy racked up a decade and a half's worth of short films he's produced and directed. And he's taken his camera op skills to various TV shows like Ice Road Truckers and films like Red Line. Willy Laszlo, everybody. Willy Laszlo.
Thank you.
Did I say that right? Because I know that's how I got into the current slate of cameras. It's just that the day you realize, and now tape isn't even in the picture, but remember the day when you realized tape, digital tape, was I could buy 3 tapes for $10 where it used to cost $3,000 worth of film stock. I mean, that was like the greatest day ever. Hey, all this technology is in our hands now.
Well, first of all, it wasn't the film Red Line. It was some car show.
What?
Yeah, and I think it was about drifting.
What are you talking about?
When I first started shooting in LA, my initial camera op job, I started shooting supercars, super bikes, cars that were drifting. I used to be a PA for a production company, and then I started from the bottom, worked my way up. First time I PA'd in my life is when I moved to Los Angeles.
Oh, right, because they really don't have the budget for PAs in Chicago.
Right. So
I did it once in the movie Michael.
Yeah,
back in Chicago.
you moved what's-her-face's...
Andy McDowell's staircase from the airport to the
Stairmaster.
Four Seasons.
Mhm.
Staircase. Why did I
Her
keep saying that?
staircase.
Yeah.
That's a story.
Stairmaster.
Yeah.
It's a story, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a day.
Well,
they had money to give me money to do that.
Well, I wanted
That's
to
how
ask
these
you,
budgets are.
Whenever you were talking about his starting with tapes and stuff, whenever you first started doing movies, did you actually ever get to participate in the I'm doing this on film?
Never.
Isn't that weird?
I started with people started giving me their camera equipment that they had laying around, and that camera equipment just so happened to be VHS cameras and VHS-C cameras.
Now, let me ask you, when these people gave you the cameras, were they home at the time, or did you just come in and take them while they were out?
Yeah, when I said the equipment was available to you, I was saying just, in that it became prosumer, not that you could go steal it.
Yeah.
My philosophy in independent filmmaking is lie, cheat, steal, but always return what you steal.
Oh,
Right.
So it's
but
like
never
borrowing.
tell them that you lied.
Or-
No.
Never take that
Or
back.
that it was gone.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just take the equipment back.
Well, right, because that shows you have some sort of moral compass. Good.
Kinda.
We're
So
all
for the
from
record,
Chicago. Who cares?
For the record,
Oh,
don't tell IMDb any different. It looks like you were a camera up on the movie Red Line.
Oh, no.
don't
Yeah,
tell
we'll
anyone.
just stick
But
with that.
here's something else I thought was kind of cool. We met Willy when we were in Chicago, and we all know Chicago has some pretty hard-ass weather. And I love that you're first, you've come out here and you've managed to go sort of back to Chicago when you went to Alaska. So good for you.
Oh,
That must have been cold as hell.
The Arctic was colder, and it's funny that you mentioned Chicago because my first thoughts coming off the plane, like they don't have ramps. So when you get off of a plane in the Arctic, you're in the element immediately.
Oh, so you immediately know that it's different than what you were just in. Like,
Right.
Oh.
Well, not necessarily because the airport, you take a bunch of little hops with smaller and smaller airports, but the plane stays the same size.
Oh, okay, good.
And the second to the last airport that we landed at, they had to try to stuff a bunch of oil rig equipment into the plane. Half the plane is cargo, the other half is passenger.
Oh my God.
And they tried doing that for an hour. All the doors were left open on the plane. And then once we got on the plane, we're not supposed to say Eskimo. I think native is the politically correct word for it. But there was a native next to me who was freezing his ass off. And they announced on the plane that they said, "We're sorry, but all the water lines are frozen, and we can't serve you guys coffee. So we're going to give you complimentary drinks."
Oh.
So the crew started drinking beer before we landed, and to the last stop.
Makes you feel safe,
right? Well, I think he meant his crew.
Oh.
I don't think he meant the flight
I thought this was
crew.
a regular routine for people in Alaska. It's so goddamn cold. Every time we're flying back from Vancouver, we got to drink, all the scotch on board just to stay warm.
No, the
or we won't be able to
pilot
land this thing.
They learned it from the Russian pilots.
Yeah.
Right.
Who still crashed because of that, by the way.
Yeah, and America West. All those guys.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yes.
But when I walked off the plane, my very first thought is I just looked around and I just thought, this isn't as bad as Chicago.
See, Chicago is
Right? Then nothing can
Chicago's
prepare you.
hard.
Nothing can prepare you for Chicago, but Chicago can prepare you for everything else.
Yeah, nothing will
weather-wise.
be as bad.
Yeah.
Right.
500 above, and then one day 500 below.
Yep.
And,
And you're
it's
either
never temperate.
sweating or freezing on the L. One or the other. You're just standing next to someone dripping or you're freezing.
I think they got better. I was on the L last year.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, for an extended period of time, and it seemed like it was okay.
Oh, good. All right.
Yeah, it's hot in here right now. I know that.
Yeah.
Burbank is hotter than everywhere else. They say the valley's hotter, and it is. So we are here in the Admirals Club, the official studio of the Movie Guys and the Movie Showcast, talking to Willy Laszlo about 8 years. This is something I read online about you. In 8 years, you made 40 shorts. Is that true in Chicago?
I probably made 40 shorts total, and I don't think that was 8 years. My first short, when I started, was 96. And then when I moved out of Chicago, it was 2004, and I made well over 30. I'm talking about the high 30s, maybe 38. And it's kind of weird to say I made.
Mm-hmm.
So I directed most of them. I think co-directed one or two. And, there was just a well-grounded support of people, both crew and cast. And thank God for Second City as far as the talent goes.
Oh, yeah. You can't go wrong with those people.
Yeah. It was
And let's go back to there, because you started, as we did, and as Adam here at the Movie Guys did as well, studying at Second City, and then getting some jobs with Second City. And then how did that translate from improv and stage and comedy into being a
movie
filmmaker?
maker? Yeah.
Well, let's not be deceiving. The jobs I got from Second City were selling T-shirts, washing dishes.
That's how you do it, though.
Yeah.
I regret that. One time
Yeah.
I was signing up for workshops, and I have very nice handwriting, and Ed was in charge at the time. I don't know if you remember Ed. And he goes, "Karen, you have such great handwriting. Would you like to be my assistant?" And I was like, "Oh, no, I'm too nervous." And so I didn't do it. I wish I'd done it. Turns out the girl that took the job made it to main stage. Just saying.
It's who you know.
It
It's who you know.
helps because they knew they could count on her, and she was around all the right people, listening to all the good stuff, and she was funny, So
That's how it starts.
I should have sold more T-shirts. Yes.
But you said, I'm going to make shorts.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's every night, and by the way, you have to mention this. Back when I was working at Second City, we're talking about Mitch Rouse, Amy Sedaris, Paul Dinello, Tina Fey, Stephanie Weir, the Steves, Steve Colbert.
Oh, yeah.
And Steve Carell.
Mhm.
And
You were there with Rachel Dratch, too, right?
yes,
Adam McKay.
Rachel. There's so many.
Mhm.
Scott Adsit.
Yeah.
Kevin
I love
Dorff
Scott
and John
Adsit.
Glazer and all these
Yeah.
people. Man, that was a wealth back in the 90s
Mhm.
on stage at Second City. Man, you could go in and see anybody who now is doing tons of stuff out there
Yeah.
that everybody knows.
And I always regretted not meeting John Belushi, but at the time, just working at Second City every night, hosting, and then after you sit everyone, your job is basically just to sit there and watch the show. And little did I know that during that time that was probably the most powerful band of the rock and roll improv era of Chicago. Just simply amazing.
We were working at Tony and Tina's. They have a complex there where they do Tony and Tina's on one level, and then Second City has a couple of theater spaces. And our show would get out, and we'd get out a little bit before 10, and if we changed quickly enough and didn't have any meetings, Paul and I would go downstairs and run over to the theater, and someone nice like you would shove us into the back where you could watch the improv set. And we would watch that almost every night and then get home.
And we haven't even mentioned Adam McKay was there, and Amy Poehler was
so
there.
many.
It was crazy.
Everybody.
Yeah.
Was Amy there?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, she was doing a lot more Improv Olympic.
Oh, yeah, that's maybe true.
Yeah, because there were all those people that did both.
But she did the tour coast, so I saw her do stuff maybe on ETC even.
Maybe.
I'm not sure.
That's
The
where we saw
second stage
Miriam
there.
and Brian. That's where I first saw Brian Stack and Miriam Tolson.
So you can learn a lot just by watching.
Yeah. Well, you don't know you're learning.
Oh, exactly.
Because you're so busy being entertained.
Yeah. And I guess before that, it was a rough road. I went to 3 different colleges and 3 different majors. I was kind of lost. I didn't know what I wanted to do in life, what my purpose was. And something just kind of pulled me toward taking my first Players Workshop improv class in Chicago. And once I took that first class, I just met a bunch of people like me. And it was an unfounded marriage that just clicked. And then after that, that's where I kind of gravitated toward getting. I couldn't say why, but I just wanted to work at Second City.
Because it's only awesome. That's why.
Yeah.
We moved to
very
Chicago just to go to the Second City. Like a
lot of people have.
Yeah, that's the only reason we moved there, and we got shitty jobs just so we could start taking classes at Second City.
Yeah, and after a little while, after watching so much improv and so many of the scenes, I would, like, in my head, I knew that I knew what the next line was going to be. So I guess that's where that part comes in about learning, and you don't even realize it, which actually that kind of falls over into production. If you're working production for years and years, you feel like you're doing nothing, but suddenly you realize that you know a lot more. And that's where I was kind of daydreaming, watching the shows, and had a vision for comedy that probably could only be portrayed through a camera and through a projection and through the media of production. And as any independent filmmaker could tell you, it's the first short that you make, and just to learn. And fortunately, when I made the first one, it happened to be something that a lot of people liked. It made it to a lot of film festivals.
Oh, cool. What one was it?
Boogeyman?
Did we see that?
I think we saw Boogeyman.
I think we saw that.
Yeah, I need to watch it again, because all this stuff I was going to say at the end is available on YouTube. I'll give you a YouTube channel in a bit where you can watch a lot of this stuff.
Well, a lot of it, I've been flagged a couple times on YouTube. I don't like.
Good for you. Congratulations.
Yeah. At the time, I didn't care about copyrights for music, and yes, I know it's wrong, but I went ahead and made the shorts anyway. And when I first started, the comedy was directly related to the music that was being played. And, a few years later, that's when YouTube came out, and I started posting stuff on YouTube. And then a short while after that, I had the record companies emailing me, or YouTube, saying, you've been flagged, you don't have the copyrights to the song.
And it's so contingent on the comedy, you can't just replace it with some generic version, right?
Some of it you can, some of it you can't.
Okay.
Yeah, but this is like your first short. It's a kind of a calling card. Just put it up there, and you're not selling it, right?
Now back.
They are.
They are.
Whenever
you first did your first short, it wasn't as common to go to these festivals. So how did you find out about the film festivals? Because I think that became more common a couple years later.
I think I started with the comedy clubs, and I mean, you got to say the word or name King Collier and the word The Elevated. And that was Hitchcock's at the time. So Kane presented like a venue for me, and I started showing the shorts in between the stand-up comedians. And it was kind of like a double life, where then, I wasn't working at Second City at the time, but I learned from Second City. And then suddenly I'm kind of transferring over into behind the camera and learning how to shoot and edit. And then it became like showing the product at different venues outside of Second City, because Second City isn't that. Second City is theater and it's stage. And then from the comedy clubs, I think that was where, the film festivals kind of started to pop up. And I just, on a whim, just started, I think there was Film 606 or something like that. It was something that started some people from, what was the theater newspaper in Chicago?
Performing.
Performing,
Yeah.
yeah. I think there was a Renee from Performing, and some people started Film Bureau 606 that started showing at art shows. It's amazing what comes out. Like you think you forgot about all this, and it's just coming back right now.
It's your history too.
Oh yes, I did lay the groundwork. Yes, I did pay dues. Yes, I did.
It's your
get
10,000
involved.
hours. It's your 10,000 hours. I always say it. Isn't that how many before you become very proficient at what you
For
do?
an expert, 10,000 hours of rehearsal.
Yeah, I don't think an employer would like that philosophy.
I know. Well,
No one would work until they're 50.
yeah.
Yeah, well,
But-
life
That's
of an
true.
actor.
That's how we are.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
but you started a festival, right? The Chicago Short Comedy Video and Film Festival.
Yes.
So screw it, right? Just start your own.
Well, co-creator Miriam Sowers was the producer.
From Witt's End.
Yes.
Yes.
Correct. And that she discovered me at the Elevated. It just happened to be one of those nights. I think Kane was short on talent, and he showed I think 4 of my shorts, and then. After the show, King came up to me and he said, "Hey, Willie, there's a lady, and she says she's a producer and she wants to meet you. She's sitting right over there." And I went, and I met her, and I guess she said that she was doing that show, Witt's End, right? That was at Excalibur.
Mm-hmm.
And she was looking for short films, and she had been going all around town, and it was really hard for her to find short films. And all of a sudden, she goes to this one comedy show, and there's 4 shorts in a row that are playing. And so we started playing the shorts at the show, and it kind of turned out, and I think it was the type of the audience that venue attracted, but the shorts were getting a better reception to the live theater. Mm-hmm. And so she called me up one day and said, "Willie, I'm thinking about doing a film fest, a comedy film festival. Would you be interested in help me out?" And I said, "Sure." And she said, "Well, let me give you a call in a couple months because I want to research this." And she called around town. She talked to other film festivals, originators, and got a bunch of information together. And then we went ahead and it was Chicago's first ever Chicago Short Comedy Film Festival, not to be mistaken with the name, which is a lot more complicated. Chicago Short Comedy Video and Film Festival.
Yeah.
At the Ivanhoe Theater, which is Benny's, a liquor store, right? They got bought out.
What? The Ivanhoe's gone?
No.
It's
we
been
haven't been
gone
to
for a few
Chicago in
years.
over 10
Well,
years.
10 years, but wow.
Yeah.
We've
and,
performed there.
Always shame to see a theater go.
Yeah.
They used to have the late night improv stuff there as well.
I
Like the
didn't
late
know
night
that.
improv, they do an improvised Shakespeare show, an improvised medical drama,
Mm-hmm.
and all that stuff. Oh, the Ivanhoe, Saint Levy.
Yeah.
And then they would show shorts. So that was a great venue.
Yeah.
Shame.
It was a good
Was
time.
it basically the first year? Was it just all your shorts because nobody else had any?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, I
The
did.
Willy Laszlo Festival. Oh, everybody come on down.
It probably fed a need for a lot of people who were doing that kind of thing, right? It's like, oh, I got a place to show my stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because you make it, but it's part of the fun is seeing reactions.
Yes. I mean, it confirms that you're not crazy. So if there's a live audience and they're laughing at something that you made, it confirms that you're correct about something.
Exactly.
You know?
And I
Yeah.
suppose if they don't, then they also confirm that.
Yeah.
If they're not laughing.
And it could be the end of the beginning of
Yes.
your wanted dream.
They
So-
said in Chicago it was Second City was a great resource, and I know you've used T.J. Jagodowski, Tim Kazurinsky, and
Mitch?
other skis. Yes, people like that to
Pasquazi.
use Pasquazi. Yeah. Do you find L.A. has its pools of talent like that as well, or do you keep dipping back into that old pool? Because I'll admit, we've had Second City folks here on the show, and I don't
Yeah.
like yourself. We have Mitch. I think Dave Rosowski would be on the show in the future, and we're looking at other folks from Second City just trying to find, reaching into that pool. Never hurts.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I noticed from year one, Los Angeles to me is a perpetual 10-year reunion of Chicago.
It is, yeah.
So
we all come in waves.
I mean, look at
Yeah.
the
Here
three
we
of us
are.
right
That's
here.
true. Hello.
Exactly. And my problem is, sure, yeah, I don't like to be able to dip in the pool or to have somebody that you know be willing to work on your short is an incredible honor, but it's a little different dynamic here because it's hard to shoot a short film when you're working in production here because it's usually freelance. You have to be available on a phone conversation or like with
Drop
a
of
phone
a
call.
hat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's hard to kind of organize everything, and that goes for the actors too. So if the actors get a paid gig,
They got to take it.
right?
Yeah.
And it's nearly impossible to do, and if you do it, you will lose money because
Yeah.
I guarantee you, and it happened to me because I wanted to get back to comedy, and that's when I made the last short, Telepathic Bowling.
Oh, I saw that. That was good.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And-
Very nice ass on that girl. Excellent. Did you have an ass casting call?
well,
very hot chick in it.
It wasn't a casting call, but we knew.
What, was it a casting couch? What are you saying?
I thought you said it was hard to find talent.
Not the kind that bend over and look like that.
Well, I got to give her a lot of credit because she was a friend of the producer.
Oh, they all
Ellen
are.
Yates.
What? Sorry, I
No,
keep
no,
giving you shit.
No.
These are where the cliches come from.
Karen, you're a
people.
friend of the producer of The Movie Guys, and look how far you've gone in this show. So
I have
look,
water
it's like your
today.
co-host. Yeah, we gave
It's
you
very
water.
exciting.
Yeah. So count your blessings, babe.
Thank you.
But it does take a certain kind of actor who takes comedy with a grain of salt, that's willing to, they know the role that they're playing and to do it because it's essential for the joke.
Yeah.
So
It's a bunch of people having fun in this short. I mean, you can see Mitch and Peter McKenzie, is that the guy's name who was the
Yeah.
other?
He was very funny too.
The Telepathic Bowling is about just what it sounds like. People who are bowling, but they use their mind instead of a ball to do it. And they have commentators, and those guys are just having fun. And I think that's key. It shows that probably there was a lot of fun on the set, and everyone was having a good time.
yeah, and Frank Coyote from Mad Television, I think you guys know him, right?
Yeah, Second City guy from
Yeah.
out here as well.
Yeah, and I was honored to have him on that too. So there you go. You got 2 Second City people. Pete was an incredible addition, and the 2 other, actually 3 actors that stepped up to the plate and came in and did it. Everyone did an amazing job, as usual. We actually had auditions for the Telly Llama.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And J.R. Starr, we found him and didn't know him, and he's been a great supporter. He comes to all the film festivals. And
Now, how many has that played in? Because I first heard about it when you had said it was playing at the Beverly Hills Film Festival.
Yeah.
It's making the rounds?
Beverly Hills Festival was the last one. There was actually the first Chicago Comedy Festival in Los Angeles last year. That's where it premiered at. And then there was an Eagle Rock Comedy Festival that it played in around there. And it's not on the internet yet because I'm still submitting it. But
Oh, that's
we'll
the other
see.
thing I want to jump in and say. What festivals that have you been able to get your shorts into? Any
well,
that we've heard of?
back in the day, like it was the 90s was the heyday.
Yeah.
And when I came to Los Angeles, that's when I worked in production, and then that's when I just stopped making the shorts. And now I'm kind of like, you know what? I was really happy with that comedy, and that was kind of like the making your own door to step back into comedy from reality television was Telepathic Bowling. So for a number of years, I learned a hell of a lot more about production than I did when I was doing the shorts. And now I'm going back to the shorts to use what I learned. So during that space of time, no shorts, no festivals. And now I'm starting to get back in.
good, and they're having you back in, which is nice.
And reality TV, even though Paul and I don't watch a lot of it, it does use all of the skills that you use when you're making films, and it does use all the skills that you need to produce things.
Well, I have a question about that because I've edited some reality television, and I know it's a lot harder to edit reality because they basically give you a bunch of footage and go, here, make a show.
And they're basically asking you
"Hamana."
to be the story editor and the writer and everything as you're editing that stuff together. You have to find the story. You have to find the
Is it
art.
the same way as a shooter? Is it they just shoot everything?
What we learned, and when I say we, it's just certain shows, because other shows you could tell that nobody has any idea what's going on, and then that makes your job harder as an editor.
Right.
And the shows, and it usually starts from the top, aka director, and then with the people that know what they're doing, then that's when they teach you as a shooter. You shoot as an editor. You don't shoot as a shooter.
Mm-hmm.
So you're looking at in and out points to like pan the camera and get an out, or to move to an object.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and the single camera coverage, that's probably the most complicated way to shoot reality. But sometimes it happens. You can't predict moments like when somebody's going to get in a fight and you're the only one on location and everything's going down, it's going down hard. So you learn to get maybe a coverage of the hands moving.
Oh, right. So you can edit in and out of that.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're editing, thinking, oh my God, how am I going to do this? Actually, editing in reality is the last and sometimes the only manipulating part of the show where you could you have control of the story and you could manipulate it to go in certain directions.
No, I cut a dating show together, and the video I ended up putting together was this guy was making this meal for a girl because he loved her. He had to have her. They had been together. They had broken up. He needed to get her back, and he made this meal for her and invited her over, and it was the big date that closed to get her back. And, you know, in real life, the guy came up and he said, I'd like to be on the show. Here's 3 different girls I could do it with.
Yeah, you have to find some stakes.
But then, you know, so they first manipulation, that's a great word, is, hey, let's just put the guy with this girl. And then the last one was make him in love, you know.
Yeah.
And in the end, is the show entertaining? Yeah. But, you know, it's just kind of crazy the paths you get there and the work you get. And, like, if you had to shoot, like, a script, piece of cake, right? You'd be looking at that like, this has got to be easier in the long run. You frame all your shots, you organize them all, you put them all together, you craft them, and then you just shoot them. Now, granted, a number of things could go wrong, but you're at least, you got this focused goal.
Right. I think it's easier because in reality, you're literally dealing with getting the wide shot, the medium shot, the close-up. It's happening as you're shooting. So narrative, you have plans, you have time to kind of plan all this out. And almost as you're reading a script, you know exactly what shots you're going to get. So, but also at the same time, with narrative, it's narrative. So there's a storyline, you know where it's going, and usually, you know, with the new type of cameras that are coming out, you're using 2K and 4K cameras with the information it has. You're talking about downloading. There's certain settings that these cameras have. Like you want to dull all the color. So because if you do that, it's easier to control the color in post. So it's still a different world. In reality, you're dealing with cameras that you want to have the correct color balance, white balance. And so it's less work for the editors in post.
Right.
And you know, you're fiddling, you're zooming in, you're getting the shot right there and then. You know, in narrative, you want that shot to be perfect, and your lighting, you want your lighting to be perfect too.
Yeah, you can't necessarily light somebody if they're in the middle of, you know, almost, you know, killing someone else, right? You can't go, hang on, just 2 feet back.
Right.
You're in front of a window, you're washing out.
No, with reality, you've got you get your thumb on the ND filter, you get your finger on the iris, you get the other finger on the focus, and you get the other finger on like the white balance, and just like you barely have a hand left over to press record.
Yeah.
But it's crazy. And if you're wondering, hey, what shows did Willy work on? You may have heard of Fashion Star, Celebrity Wife Swap, Celebrity Rehab.
I've heard of that one.
Kathy Griffin, My Life on the D-List.
Oh, I love Kathy Griffin. Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, I love Kathy Griffin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's not going to say
What's that?
anything. No,
Follow
I'm
her
kidding.
around?
No, here's the thing though. Like, I
loved your mom.
I worked on the show for like 2 or 3 days as an AC. So, and it was a day rate.
An air conditioner?
I know. What's that mean?
Just for the
AC?
people at home? Just trying to...
Camera assistant.
Ah.
I don't
Oh, right.
know. I don't know why the letters are flipped around.
Yeah, it's weird. Okay.
So you worked on.
Well, if you were an assistant camera, it would sound like you are a camera, which you are not. You're an operator. So
Correct.
maybe that's a...
Well, I'm an
Again, we're
operator
breaking
now.
it down for the flyover states. That's all.
Yeah. For the flyover states.
And for the Flower Garage, it's the same. Yes.
AC, camera assistant, you basically bring the camera operator batteries and tapes or
I could do that.
cards nowadays.
All right.
Camera operator, you're shooting. So that's the simple breakdown. But sometimes when you get a job in Los Angeles, you're not part of the crew for the duration of the show. You come in for a couple days to fill in for somebody else.
Oh, okay.
So you don't really get to know the talent or to grasp the chemistry of how the show is made.
Which makes it even harder when you're trying to figure out what to shoot. Because I would think that having an idea of, oh, Kathy always does that, so we're going to get more footage of how she always behaves. But if you're just coming in for 3 days, you might miss the thing that you could be setting up as a nice through line.
Well, as a camera assistant, I don't have to know what to shoot.
No, that's true.
But now since I'm a camera operator, you have a point. And this just happened recently. You're walking in as a shooter, not knowing what to shoot.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I think this was a couple months ago, I get a phone call. And usually like the UPM, which is the unit production manager, like they'll send you pictures of the cast, which names.
Oh, yeah, you get like a little book. It's kind of like a yearbook, and it has all their names underneath it and then the picture so you can tell who you're shooting.
Right. And you kind of take a look at it. You kind of get a concept of who's who and stuff. And I got a call, hey, could you work tomorrow? I'm like, yeah, sure. And then nobody sent me anything.
Oh.
I didn't ask. And the next day I went in, and I felt comfortable because it was a crew that I had worked on before in Celebrity Rehab. And suddenly, as soon as I show up, it's like, okay, Willie, we need you. Get on set. So now you're walking inside of a house that you've never been in in your life, and you're getting directions from the director of what rooms to step in.
But you don't even know where you are.
You have no idea where that room is.
That's reality.
Yeah,
right there.
exactly.
You're experiencing the reality there.
Yeah, and in this particular situation, for that first hour that I was there, things went down fast.
Oh, no.
And they went down really hard. Suddenly, it was chaos. I'm getting yells of, like, Willie, shoot so-and-so, and I didn't.
Who is that?
Yeah, there's only two guys there that I recognized, and the rest of the cast, I had no idea who the cast was. I didn't know where the rooms were. And that's where you're training in reality. You kind of just get like a sixth sense feeling of where you should go. And
Where the shit's going down?
Yeah.
You're like, I smell it over here. All right, go to the kitchen.
And you're also looking at the other camera operators because on their position of the way they're shooting, you want to be on the right side of the 180 line.
Oh, that's right.
So you could shoot cross. And what it came down to was I saw everybody like kind of clumped up in front of the shut door. And inside the door was, at the time, we thought it was a possible...
Suicide. Drug overdose. Sex. Any of that?
Yeah, the first two.
Holy shit.
Yeah,
okay.
we're correct.
Wow.
And everybody was standing outside kind of confused, and I knew where to go because I had worked with the director before, and I just walked straight through that door and planted, myself on the bed and started shooting the situation, and then eventually another camera op came in, and we had it. It was like, bam, it was happening. We're shooting cross. Everything was going down until the paramedics came, and then we had to leave.
Okay. I don't mean to diss reality TV, but I want to say as a person, doesn't that seem weird to go, oh, Paul's ODing, but I got it. How about I put that shit down and help Paul stop ODing? How do you come to grips with that?
She was talking to a doctor.
Oh, okay.
And the doctor was
he's not an EMT.
No, but I don't
we
know.
don't have EMTs on the movie, guys.
There's something about the dog fell in the pool and I'm videotaping it. You put that shit down and get the dog out of the pool. That's just me.
The emergency guys will cover.
What if the dog drowns before the emergency dog savers come?
Well, if you're as a camera operator,
has that happened though? That's a good. Has that happened to you?
A
Where
dog
you felt like you need to cross the line here.
7 puppies have drowned.
Shut the.
You are such a dick.
Welcome to the movie, guys.
I got the shot. I got coverage of it. I got low angles, high angles. No, I'm kidding.
Have you ever been in a situation where you feel like I should put this camera down and freaking do something?
Not yet.
Oh no.
I imagine there's some structure that makes you feel like you don't need to.
Yeah, there's other people. Like if he was talking to a doctor.
You know what? That has happened once.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. I can't talk about
No,
it.
Yeah, you don't have to go into
You don't have to talk about it, but it's just
papers have been signed. Whatever they call it, statutes of limitations are in effect.
No, it's not reality's fault. I'm just saying, as a person, like I have trouble not saving or fixing.
Well, this is the way I see it. You're shooting somebody else doing something about the situation.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
And if there's nobody around for miles around, and it's just you and the situation,
and the ice road truckers, right? Is that what it was?
No, you and the situation is going down. Well, it's a general thing. Like it could go to any show for any show,
but not just ice road truckers.
Yes, that is correct.
All right.
You do put the camera down and you save a life, or you help somebody, or you save your own life.
Yeah, that's true too. You could be in danger.
That's happened more times with me than saving somebody else's life. But because what it comes down to is it's television. And there's no production that could be more important than a life or injury. And at least with the people that I've worked with, we're all well aware of that. And some of the shows that we are going into, we know that it is a dangerous show, and we do what we can with what we have to be safe.
Especially things that are dealing with the elements, things you can't control. No one can control weather. And I would imagine that would be a real pain in the butt if you were, say, doing, I don't know, ice road truckers, and there was ice and snow and cold.
Yes.
Just saying.
Let's talk about the bigger picture.
Okay.
Redline?
That movie you worked on is so impressive.
We've got, let's wrap this up with a couple of questions.
All right.
Improv, video, television, film. What's your ultimate goal?
My ultimate goal is, I noticed I was happiest making the short comedy films in Chicago. It was one of the happier moments of my life, and I want that. I want that back. And whether it happens in Los Angeles or back in Chicago, I don't know. And I would love to be directing my own comedy show. And I think at this point it would make a lot of sense that if it was television. So that's it.
You're laying the groundwork for it.
Yeah. And looking further down the road, if I ever had the opportunity of doing a feature, yeah, of course.
Mm-hmm.
But I think TV is what I know. I know the pacing of it. And with the background training that I've had and with the family, the comedy family from Chicago, that would be the obvious route.
And what's your favorite movie of all time?
One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
No kidding.
You know what? It's probably a tie between that and Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid.
Wow. So,
yeah.
Man, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest is a great. Okay, Karen. Karen has this ongoing thing.
I've seen the first one. I haven't seen.
You haven't seen Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid?
Put it on the list.
She's got this ongoing list. Every time someone comes on here and starts talking about a movie, inevitably she
list
hasn't
is really
seen it. If it's a classic,
great.
she hasn't seen it. She's got to add it to the list.
I do that.
Butch Cassidy and that's like the greatest. That's such a great movie.
I'm going to put your name next to it, so if I like it or don't like it, I know who to blame.
And could you promise me one thing when you watch it?
Yes. What?
Don't answer the phone. Don't do anything else.
Just watch it.
Watch it from
I
beginning
agree.
to end.
Okay. I can do that in the next month, right? Don't we have that free trial of Amazon Plus? So I can watch
Prime.
Downton Abbey.
Yeah.
Don't tell them though.
Yeah,
Okay,
God, man,
and
those guys made it look easy. Newman and Redford. Right up to the end. Even Newman in Road to Perdition, one of his last performances, just made it look easy. Oh, you're the highest up gangster. You're the toughest guy. He never laid on the muscle. Mr. Cool, man. Those guys were the coolest.
Yeah, I don't think it happens too often. You definitely see less of it today, but when you see just the natural chemistry between two actors on screen, you can never fake that.
Like our chemistry. You can't fake this.
That's right.
This is awesome.
I'd like to see Pitt and Clooney do another movie outside of the Ocean's films.
Yeah,
Just
they're
do another
awesome
movie.
together.
I think Clooney's probably another guy who just makes it look easy.
Yep.
And he's doing a lot. He's producing. He's winning Oscars, and he still doesn't seem like he's hating it or working all that hard.
Yeah, it's.
I mean, you can tell he's working hard because of the content he's putting out, but he's just right for it to where it's a nice fit, and he's just making it look easy, man.
Yeah.
And that's the coolest.
Well, it's kind of weird. You don't see him on screen as often, and suddenly during the Oscars, he's up on stage holding the Oscars. Like, what?
He made Argo?
Yeah.
Doesn't he have enough?
All right, I just have to ask this before we finish up. I think he's attractive. Mark Wahlberg?
Marky Mark?
Yeah, because I was talking to the guys about this, and they're like, oh, no, he's not attractive because he's right behind you, and we're talking about one of his movies today. I just think he's hot.
They're
I had to pull...
jealous.
Right?
That's what I think.
See?
All right.
Yep.
Thank you. I'm glad Willie's here.
Willie's they're jealous. That is the deciding vote.
He's a director. He has an eye for these things.
I have an eye for Marky Mark.
Hey, check your film festivals to see if Telepathic Bowling is playing anywhere near you. And go to youtube.com/Willy Laszlo. That's Laszlo. And see some of these classic shorts we've been talking about. And there will be more, no doubt. Willy Laszlo!
Yay! Thank you, Willie.
Thank you.
Before we go, it would not be the same if we didn't make time to look at the birthdays of those who make the movies. So we turn things over to Karen.
All right, starting off our birthdays this week, let's wish a happy birthday to Rush bass guitarist Geddy Lee.
Nice.
Who turns 60 but can play anywhere from Gary to Geddy. It turns out that his grandmother, he always used to say in this very thick accent, she would go, Geddy, 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 Geddy. And so his friends would come over and they'd always pick on him and be like, your name's Geddy, that's stupid. And everybody started calling him Geddy, and now he's Geddy Lee of Rush.
It's like the coolest thing ever.
Yeah.
Many platinum records later.
Mm-hmm.
Did you know what? I ran into him in Chicago.
Oh,
seeing that. On the sidewalk with Mark Hanner, whose brother almost named his first child Geddy Lee Hanner. That's how big a Rush fan.
Wow. So when he met him, big deal.
Big deal.
I have a friend who named.
Died 2 years ago.
I have a friend who named their child. What's the? This story now sucks because I could totally forget. Keith Richards.
Should we make up some shit?
Keith
Okay.
Richards. The boy's name is Keith Richards Greer.
Oh.
Oh.
I think I would have.
That's how much of a fan they were of Rush.
And Richard Gere, apparently. Yeah.
I would have pegged Geddy for older than that.
Yeah, I know. It's a little weird.
How
Only
old?
60. Only 60 years old. But here's something fun. He's
Younger
only...
than Denzel.
It's actually spelled
older
Gary,
than Denzel.
but
Only
pronounced.
1 year.
Here's something fun. He only appeared in one movie, and that was a TV made for a movie called Sunshine Sketches of a Little Town. But the reason he's on my birthday list is because his music has been in more than 30 film soundtracks.
Nice.
So you guys, I ask you, can you name at least 3 Rush songs that were in 3 different movies and tell me the movies?
Oh, that's a good question.
Well, I can tell you one. One's
Yep.
rather recent. I Love You Man had Tom Sawyer in it.
Yes, right.
And they were in it playing. So technically, he's in that movie.
Technically, playing himself, but playing a character.
Oh.
He's only been in a
he
TV.
acted
Yes.
in him. Oh, I see. Okay.
So you got one, and
I
it's
got
I
it.
Love You Man, though it does have another song in I Love You Man. Oh, actually,
Wait, is
2
that
more.
2? So is it 3 movies with 3 different Rush songs, or it's just 3 songs?
3 songs.
Is
3
Spirit of
movies.
Radio and I Love You Man?
No, but that's the other movie soundtrack song. Which was that in? Do you know Spirit of Radio
Man,
was
I don't
in?
know.
I think now would be a good time for me to learn some Rush songs. Can we first review my options?
Did they have? Were they in Heavy Metal? The old animated movie Heavy Metal.
Oh, I don't
There
know.
was humping in that
They weren't
movie.
necessarily heavy metal bands in that movie because like Cheap Trick I think was in it.
Yeah.
But even though Black Sabbath
Was that
in it.
porny cartoon?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
I love
yeah.
that.
Porny sci-fi.
I don't have anything about that, but can you name another song? We have Spirit of Radio, which I should tell you was in
Well,
the
that's a
Trailer
better
Park.
question. Can I name another Rush song?
That's true.
I
Which-
can name a bunch of Rush songs.
Yeah,
I'm going to
yeah.
guess that maybe Free Will was in a movie.
I don't have that one here.
YYZ?
No, but I was going to tell you Spirit of
Take
Radio.
the long way home?
I'm going to tell you Spirit
Lee,
of
we've
Radio.
established you don't know Rush. You know more about Rush Limbaugh.
That's a great call for a wrong Rush song, though. I applaud the comedy on that one.
So there's something called the Trailer Park Boys. That was Spirit of Radio was in that, and
Oh.
also this is kind of
It's a
creepy.
TV show.
The Lords of Salem.
Don't know that one.
That was
Yeah.
a movie or a
That was
song?
a movie. Yeah.
Although it could sound like it sounds like
It
a Rush,
certainly
like early
does.
Rush.
Yeah,
All right.
Lords of Salem. That's a concept album from Rush, I think.
Also, I'll just finish this up for you. Limelight was in Adventureland and in That's My Boy. Also, Tom Sawyer, Limelight, and Fly By Night were in Waterboy.
Fly by night, away.
That is a Rush song.
There's a bunch of movies I'm glad I don't have to see to know Rush was in it.
Next up, let's wish a happy birthday to Arnold Schwarzenegger, who turned 66.
You're going to love this birthday announcement. It's good for children. It's good for grandkids. It's good for the blind.
Let me tell you,
it's
this
good for
is the kind of thing that
It's a sort of
you know,
birthday announcement that everybody can enjoy, no matter what age they are.
And every week, Karen looks forward to the birthdays. I don't know why.
But he can play anywhere from Terminator to Kindergarten Cop. I checked out Arnold's...
It's not Atuma at all.
I checked out Arnold's IMDb, and he has managed to make more movies in the time period that since he said, I'm coming back to make movies, the most actors do in their entire careers.
They're all in production, though, right?
In the last 3 years, he has done 5 movies that actually have come out already. 8 movies are scheduled to be coming out. 1 movie's in post-production, and 4 others are in pre-production, and 3 are announced. That man just said, hey, sign me up, and everyone started sending shit to him.
He just started checking off the list.
His career is so improbable. Every time I think about the arc of his life.
Well, that was the other joke I was working on is instead of just saying, he does a billion movies, I was going to say he started as a little boy in Austria. Started doing bodybuilding, and then he came here and did more bodybuilding, and then he said, I'm going to be an actor, and it's just the path that all actors take, If you want to be an actor, you just do that. It's so obvious.
Who represents more that you can do anything, no matter where you come from or who you are? Schwarzenegger or Barack Obama?
Schwarzenegger.
At least Barry was born here.
Barack's not president of Austria.
I think he could pull it off.
All right, and let's say a happy birthday to Adonis Terry Crews. Do you like Terry? Oh, yes.
Hold on.
Who turns 45 but can play anywhere from a defensive end and
Terry
linebacker for the Rams, the Chargers, Redskins, and the Eagles to crazy hottie in those Old Spice commercials.
Wasn't he Chris Rock's dad and Everybody Hates Chris?
Yes, that's what I was going to get to. He started out his acting career on Battle Dome and made a smooth transition to playing Beefcake, that was his character name, in White Chicks, and is probably best known for his father character in Everybody Hates Chris.
Or Expendables, right?
He was in that too, but I was just thinking that he has single-handedly made the blue-collar working man very sexy. Every time he appears on screen as somebody's dad or he works it like as a mechanic, I'm like, oh.
More so than John Goodman did.
Yes, good point. And since we were talking about Hollywood beefcakes, happy birthday to Kevin Smith, who turns 42.
More like cheesecakes.
Well, whichever. He could play anywhere from Silent Bob to the most talkative guy on earth. This just in, and this is kind of fun. It just happened a couple of days ago. Kevin Smith has just said he's in pre-production for a new movie he wrote called Tusk.
Yes.
He was inspired to write it after talking about something on his Smodcast. And so here is the ad that he found on Craigslist.
This is amazing.
And it encouraged him to make this movie. I can't wait to see the movie now.
You got to go listen to the Smodcast. It's about 10, 15 episodes back, and it did get him going, and he's now making a movie based on this. Read this.
To take on, this is the ad. To take on the position as a lodger, you must be prepared to wear the walrus suit for approximately 2 hours each day. In parentheses, in practice, this is not 2 hours every day. I merely state it here so you are able to have a clear idea of the workload. End of the parentheses. Whilst in the walrus costume, you must be a walrus. There will be no speaking in human voice, and any communication must entail making utterances in the voice of a walrus.
For free room and board.
For free room and board. End of ad.
What is he looking on Craigslist for that he comes across this?
Maybe a lodger? I don't know.
I think one of those things that just went out on the internet that somebody found it and was like, can you believe this?
Yeah.
Michael Parks is playing the guy who puts the ad out. And the guy that comes, at least this is what he announced at the San Diego Comic-Con, that he was either in talks to or this is a yes, is Quentin Tarantino as the guy who's the lodger playing the walrus. Or Quentin Tarantino's playing someone. I don't know if it's a
creepy movie.
lodger. Yeah.
That's a horror movie even if it wasn't one.
It's creepy.
But happy birthday to all those very cute, hot men.
All right.
Thank you. Thank you. Happy birthday.
This movie, guys, was so great. It's good for all kids. It's good for blind
But
people.
isn't Quentin
it's
Tarantino
deaf
the worst
people. If you
actor?
are,
It's
an
Quentin
invalid, you will love
Tarantino.
it,
I usually come to
whether
my
you
house.
live
I
in
give
any
him
part of
acting
the
lessons
country,
and this
if you
kind of
live in
thing
America,
because
or if
there's
you live in
way that
Norway
he
Next
or
year, Karen,
Finland,
don't
or
mention his
if
birthday.
you
I will
are-
make a
if
note
you
of
are not
that.
afraid of
And that
flying,
wraps another movie
afraid of
showcast, everybody.
flying, if you are-
There, the music cut everybody off.
Absolutely. It'd be great for
Oh, it didn't.
everybody.
Follow us on Twitter at The Movie Guys, on Facebook
good
at
for Twitter followers. It's
facebook.com/The Movie
good
Guys,
for
as well as on
Facebook
YouTube, on
If you do
iTunes, as
like
well
the
as SoundCloud,
SoundCloud,
and
you
Vine,
like that. If you
and
like
the
the
Instagram,
YouTube,
and the
if
Google
you
Plus,
are
and all of
still
this,
on the
and the
Friendster,
LinkedIn,
you
and
will
what
like
have
it
you.
if you're even on
And,
the Friendster.
thanks to Willy
You will also
Laszlo,
like
he's
it.
Austrian, and Jamie Clark
You will
Yelvington
like it if you're
minding
on
the
the-
soundboard with
MySpace.
the Iron
If you go
Fist,
onto
and of
MySpace
course
and
Steve Shores,
automatically
who is
hear music,
contributing
you
the
will love it. If
stories
you
and
like
the
music,
jokes
you will love it.
and
If you
everything
don't
for
like
the show
music,
and all of this.
you will
And
also
if
love
you
it.
want to find everything about us, you can go to
Alien from another
themovieguyes.net. Thank you for
country.
listening.
You will like it if you're blind or not blind.